football team cleared for workouts. They held a limited practice yesterday, although a source tells ESPN the move does not guarantee their game with Ohio State this weekend will be played. Meanwhile, Ryan Day, the head coach, is back with the Buckeyes following his COVID-19 absence. So here we go. We bring in our college insiders extraordinaire, Heather Dinich, Paul FineBaum, and Greg continues with us. Let's go right to you, Heather. What is the latest as it relates to this game being played?
Well, like you said, it's not guaranteed yet, and Jim Harbaugh is expected to address the media today to preview the game. So that is an encouraging sign. That being said, if this game is not played, my sources in the Big Ten have told me that athletic directors are having their weekly meeting on Wednesday, and they can consider changing that 6-game benchmark, especially if there's a decision made by the end of the day today that the game can't be played. So all 14 athletic directors certainly have the potential to make that decision. We can see if they do that tomorrow, and if they even need to, the game might be played. Right,
and the other opportunity, I just want to make sure everyone is clear on this, and that I am, is the other thing they could decide to do if Michigan can't play is change the opponent. Yes, if there's another team that doesn't have a game this weekend, Heather, Ohio State could wind up playing them?
That is correct. The Big Ten presidents and chancellors last month approved a rule that if two healthy teams have their opponents canceled because of COVID-19 by 1 Eastern on Wednesday, if those two teams agree to play, they can do that. So if Ohio State and somebody else are looking for a date, they can make it happen.
Okay, so you mentioned that Jim Harbaugh is going to address the media. That should be interesting in a lot of different ways. And Paul FineBaum, I'm looking right at you. Do you feel that Jim Harbaugh is coaching for his job Saturday?
I don't think this game is going to determine anything because I really feel like he's already expired his opportunities. I mean, this year has been a complete bust. He is not going to beat Ohio State. Now, if he did, certainly it would change the dynamics. That's something he hasn't done, and he was expected to do very early on. But it just seems like an exaggeration of the point that Jim Harbaugh is going to pull this upset. I don't see how he does it, and I'm not sure that's going to determine the outcome. And to me, that the outcome should already be determined.
Which is what? That he should depart? Should Michigan, again, next year is the last year of his contract. College coaches don't generally coach into lame duck seasons because of recruiting concerns. So when you say you think it's done, what does that mean, Paul?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, it should be done. In their opinion right now, there's a lot of reporting out of Detroit that the athletic director and Harbaugh are trying to work out some deal to lessen his contract and lessen the buyout going into the final year. Greeny, that's a waste of time. He's a lame duck right now. Everyone realizes that he is probably not going to be there much longer. So why would you allow him to come back? What I would do is give Jim Harbaugh a graceful exit. There are reports that NFL clubs want him. Let him get an NFL job so you don't have to be on the record having fired him and end this charade that Jim Harbaugh is ever going to turn Michigan around. He is not.
As bad as this has been, it is still jarring to look on the screen and see Ohio State as a 29-point favorite in this game. Greg McElroy, what is your perspective right now on Michigan and Jim Harbaugh?
I think the end is near, Greeny, and I think it probably should be, because this was a team 5 or 6 years ago that actually had some decent talent. If you look in 2016, Jim Harbaugh's third year there at Michigan, they were playing exceptionally good football. They were within a quarter of an inch of getting to the college football playoff, and since that point, they have regressed over time, and they've gotten worse and worse and worse. And frankly, at this point, Jim Harbaugh is probably going to look in the mirror, and as competitive as he may be, he's probably thinking to himself, you know, I might not be the best guy to lead this team. I talked to a coach off the record that recruits at a remarkably high level, and he said, we haven't had to beat Michigan on a player in 4 years. And we're talking about some of the best. Right now, Michigan is not recruiting on the level that they need to contend against the likes of Ohio State and the best teams in college football. So they might need a reset. They might need a coach that really prioritizes recruiting and understands how to get the best players on the field for the Michigan Wolverines.
So, Heather, let me circle it back to you to finish. From a repertorial standpoint, from your reporting, what are you hearing coming out of Ann Arbor?
Well, Paul nailed it. There are talks about a short-term contract extension. ESPN, to be clear, has not officially reported that yet. Michigan has not confirmed that. But the idea is that to address exactly what Greg was talking about, which is recruiting, and it would help with that.
So could the end be near for Jim Harbaugh? We'll see. Could he pull off what would be one of the biggest upsets in recent memory? We'll find out. Heather, Paul, thank you guys both very much. Meanwhile, tonight at 7 Eastern, we'll find out where all these teams go in the exclusive reveal of the college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese and the crew breaking them down from top to remaining. So with the clock running, they're trying to run the field goal team on, and you see they're looking for a football. Well, they don't have one. They have to stop the clock, the officials do, to get the K ball. Why? Because Alex Smith took the game ball off the field with him. If he left that with the officiating crew, they would have used that for the field goal. Washington would very likely not have gotten the kickoff in time. Instead, Smith takes the ball, they stop the clock, the kick is up and good, and Washington winds up winning. Here he was last night with SVP.
I wish I knew it was going to happen like that. For me, I was just trying to get the offensive football off the field. I knew the K-ball would be coming in. I knew we were going hurry-up field goal. I was trying to just speed up the process by running our football off. I didn't know it would turn into what it did. Luckily, it worked out in our favor. I was literally just trying to get off the field and get the K-ball in so those guys could kick it.
You know what worked out very well for him there was the mask, because you couldn't see him trying not to laugh, because that so obviously was a great, sneaky veteran move. Jeff Saturday, what did you think?
Yeah, listen, I don't understand it, in all honesty. I mean, listen, it was a sneaky move, but I'm not sure how he anticipated this to happen, right? I mean, otherwise, every receiver on a last-second play is going to grab the ball and run it off. I mean, this was a complete screw-up by the referees. I'd love to hear Grise or Greg give me the true what should have happened from the referee's perspective, because this right here, this is the easiest way, and we get mad all the time about defensive players laying on guys or trying to push the ball out or delay the game. Here, this is the offense, and we call it sneaky, but it's a little shady for the Steelers this morning, I can assure you.
Graziano, what can you tell us?
It's a lot shady, and Alex Smith knows that. This is not his first 2-minute drill. Look, what the officials should have done is not stop the clock, because players know in these final seconds of the half, final seconds of the game, that the officials are going to just keep using the same ball to keep things sped up. Alex Smith's not supposed to take that ball off the field. He knows that very well, and he got lucky that the officials didn't call him on it and say, hey, no, that time is on you, not on us, not on the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you don't hand us the ball back, then that comes out of your time. They got lucky there, but yeah, pretty slick by Alex Smith.
You know what just jumped into my head is that last Wednesday, remember, right before the half, the Ravens didn't score against Pittsburgh because the Steeler defenders laid on them. I mean, for lack of a better, we called it smoke playing, but we did that kind of with a smile on our face. It just occurred to me, so we don't have the play ready to go, but you remember it if you saw the game, right? Greg McElroy, the Steelers got off the field without giving up points before the end of the half. So maybe, in a sort of a ball doesn't lie kind of a way, this was a little bit of retribution.
Yeah, the time gods giveth and the time gods take it away, right? It was pretty amazing gamesmanship. At the bare minimum, guys, that's a delay of game offensively on Alex Smith. Like, at the bare minimum. But, hey, they took advantage of a loophole within the rule at that point, and they were obviously benefited with the extra time and the opportunity to score some points.
Yeah, look, the Steelers still clearly had every opportunity to win the game. Imagine the conversation we're having today if that's the end of the game and it's a field goal that winds up winning it. One way or another, that's a good win. Alec, can I ask quickly about the Washington football team here? Do I need to go to the... Yes, so let's talk about this team, Jeff Saturday. Let's talk about the Washington football team, which goes into Pittsburgh. That's one of the biggest wins of the season so far. They feel like they're kind of on the come. Do you like them or the Giants in the NFC East?
I'm going to go Giants in the NFC. As much as I like Washington, I think their front seven defensively is as stout as they get. But don't miss the Giants and how physical this team has been the last 4 weeks or so. I mean, they go into Seattle and physically manhandle the Seahawks. And listen, their style, give Jason Garrett and Joe Judge a ton of credit. They are playing downhill, even without Barkley, without their starting quarterback, Daniel Jones. They go with Colt McCoy, and they still physically dominate the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks. I have to respect the way they played it as well as Washington played last night. I'm still giving the benefit of the doubt to the New York Giants.
All right, we will come back to the NFL as we continue because that clearly is going to be a fun race down the final 4 weeks of the season. But we have to get to the overwhelming college football.